and foremost, we want to stay healthy, and we want to make sure everybody's taking a step, whether it's our young kids that are in their first year or kids that are in their fourth, fifth year up here. And we got kids that are returning that are all conference players, and we're going to try to take those guys to the next level or to the next step. All right, we're trying to take some of our guys that have been backups and kind of put those guys in starters roles, and try to make sure we get as much depth as possible, because you look through a football season, everybody's not going to be healthy, and the biggest thing we can do is build depth, especially defensively.
Overall, we've been able to get in all of our practices. We're on schedule to get our 15 done, and that's always a big thing, and it's always a bit of a challenge here. But overall, we've been making improvements, or we're making strides, even though some things have been a little inconsistent.
I think everybody's actually making progress, even our older guys, but especially our younger guys. You go through that fall camp, and sometimes a lot of that is geared towards our ones and twos, and they don't get a chance to take as many reps or get as much learning opportunities. And then, for spring, you kind of dumb it down a little bit and try to keep the playbook, very short and small, just so everybody can get as many reps as possible and they can play fast out there. Because if they can play fast, then, we can find some players that can play for us on Saturdays in the fall.
So every spring you're trying to introduce new guys to the new schemes, and you're trying to introduce guys that maybe were backups to get them a little bit more experience, and then you still have some starters that you're working on. So you always have guys that are all different levels that you're trying to learn and teach, and you try to take things a day at a time. So we go with a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday schedule ideally, and then we get Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays to do meetings and to brush up on some stuff and watch film and learn from that. And so I think that's really important for the learning curve, is that guys have a chance to see themselves on film, see what they did right, see what they did wrong, as you're working through a bunch of situations that they can learn from.
Yeah, I think we've done a really good job. Offensively, they've been bringing it every single day. So we got to kind of match their tempo. And you kind of see when we have a lull out there, the offense gets, excited. And same, on the other side, when we're doing good and the offense got to step up. So as long as we have good competition, on both sides, then, yeah, it helps going against another team like Duluth, last year. But we have good competition on both sides of the ball right now. So, we're getting a lot out of it, different situations and putting our kids in some tough ones out there.
Well, number one, first thing, whenever you have your spring game, you're always looking to come out of it healthy. So that's always a priority, is to make sure that our guys, have a good spring game and that we come out healthy and we're ready to go for the summer. But after that, you're looking for guys to compete. You want to see who's going to go out there and who's going to execute the stuff that you want them to execute, both offensively and defensively and on special teams, and who's going to bring a little bit more juice or a little bit pace and tempo that you want in games, and so and who also on the other end of the spectrum, who doesn't perform as well when it's game time. So there's a lot of learning that's going on from us as the coaches about our team, as well as from our players in terms of what it is that they can do and what they still need to continue to work on throughout the summer.
Michael Bates has done a really good job. Sam Kinney has had a really good spring, and those guys are that we expect a lot. But now you have some younger guys that are trying to step into some roles that are going to be vacated by some starters last year. You look at the linebacker position, you have two starters that, especially inside, are leaving us. And, Mark Sipple played a good amount for us last year, but he stepped into a role. I think he's doing really well. Jason Jancourt, an outside backer, is doing really well for us. Jared Terrence, defensive back, and Sam Ahern, I thought they have stepped up their game. Sam's been banged up a little bit, but every time he's out there, I think they're getting a lot better. Some of these kids haven't played, a snap of football of real life in about 3 years. And you put them in a game situation like we do have in a scrimmage, it's like, all right, let's go see when the bright lights are there, what happens. I mean, some people may be great practice players, but then, they end up, not doing so well in the game. So this is a good opportunity for those young kids and even some older guys to say, hey, what happens when the bright lights are on? People are around here, and make sure everybody steps up. But the number one thing we got to do is just stay healthy through it.
We focused on, the little things. We focused on taking each week, one at a time. And then at the end of the day on Saturday, if you do all the right things, you take a look up the scoreboard, hopefully you're on the right side of it. So do I think we can finish well? Yeah. But do I think it's a tough league? Yeah. So we got to make sure that we're ready and that we're getting better all summer long to prepare and play.